Hello everyone and welcome to the 5th episode of Mystic Butterfly podcast. I am Jana, your host and the founder of Mystic Butterfly, a guide to your true self. Thank you so much for tuning in and for listening. I know it's been a while since the last episode, but things just been a little bit more busy than usual with my book Mystic Butterfly coming out in January, plus the notebook a few months after that. But the podcast is still run currently on an ad hoc basis. Basically, when I can fit it into my busy schedule, I record an episode. But I would definitely love to do more of these in the future because they are so much fun. Well, today I actually have a guest on my podcast, a first guest ever, who happens to be my boyfriend, William. Well, hello, William.
Oh, hello, Jana. It's an absolute pleasure to be here.
Hi, William. And we are going to be talking about creativity today. So first of all, let me give you some information about William. William is a writer, poet, and a creative. He loves writing about all the mysterious things like goblins, dragons, wizards, and magic. And he's also the founder of Will Positive, a clothing line that inspires positive and healthy living. He also has a poetry book coming out this Halloween. How exciting is that?
It's very exciting. I'm so looking forward to getting the book out to the world this autumn.
Fantastic. So let's dive in straight to the questions. So how did you start writing? When did you start writing and why poetry?
Well, since I was a kid, I've loved poetry. Even when I was at school, I loved poetry. I just find it comforting and very healing. It took me to the world that seemed more exciting than the one we actually live in right now. I always loved the mystery, the unexplained, and I fully believed in them. And from this day, I still do believe in them.
That's great. We all love mystery. I personally love all the mysteries and magic of the universe, the cosmos, and all the mysterious and unexplained. It's absolutely amazing. I think that's so much better world than the one we live in. So where does your inspiration come from?
I would say inspiration is everywhere. It's outside in nature. It's on a billboard when you drive by. You can just get inspired just by talking to people and noticing the way they use words, the way they create sentences. I just feel inspiration is everywhere.
I completely agree with that. And sometimes I just look at a tree when I'm in nature and I can feel like there is an inspiration coming to me, so I can write a story about it or a poem about it. And yeah, inspiration truly is everywhere. I completely believe that. So what's your process of finding time for writing, for your creations, and fitting it into your busy schedule?
Well, lately I find that making appointments with myself, basically noting down in my calendar that on a certain day I'll be writing, and this becomes non-negotiable for me. Makes me get the work done too. Even though when I don't feel like sometimes, which all of us don't feel like doing something sometimes,
That's true.
I just begin and find later that after a while I open the gate to inspiration and then it starts to flow.
I absolutely love that. And that leads me to something we call procrastination. How do you deal with procrastination? Because I believe loads of my listeners will have questions about that, and all of us deal with that on a daily basis. So how do you deal with procrastination?
Well, with procrastination, I never postpone anything you can do for today, for tomorrow. If you have an idea, just simply act on it. For me, procrastination means putting my life on hold. I'm fully aware at this time of my life that I don't want to be procrastinating on my dreams. I just want to put as many of my dreams into reality as possible. And I also believe, as you say, that it is my responsibility and my duty to bring these dreams to the world.
Couldn't agree more with you. I believe our dreams come to us for a reason, and because we are more than capable to actually bring them into reality. Do you visualize your dreams as well?
I must say I do. Because, when I want to create something or manifest on something, visualization is a very important tool that I use.
How do you visualize?
Well, I basically lie down on a sofa that's somewhere comfortable. I close my eyes because I find them very healing and, there's no disturbance. And I feel the feelings, how my dream is going to feel once it's manifested. I go to as many details as possible. So, for example, if I want to get a book out, which is happening soon, I would feel what it feels like holding that book in my hands months before it actually happens. So I would feel people congratulating me on my accomplishments and telling me how my work inspired them and brought some light and happiness into their lives. So I believe it is the detail, being specific, that is so important when you visualize.
Definitely. I also visualize myself, and I do that on a daily basis. It's such an essential part of the creative process or any manifestation process. So if you want to bring your dreams into reality, visualize every single day. What would your advice be to someone who wants to start writing poetry, maybe start a blog or write a novel, or perhaps start their own clothing design company?
I would say if a thought comes to your mind, then just act on it. So just begin. Begin your work. You're thinking about it. So just now put it into context where it happens in reality. So all I say is, what are you waiting for? The only way to make something happen is to take the first step. Become an action taker, and then soon the results will follow.
100%. If something is in your mind, there is a reason for it, and you shouldn't take it for granted. You should really invest your time to that matters to you. And once you take that first step, the others will be presented to you as you go on. So let's say you are working on a creative project and you get stuck. How do you deal with that?
Well, personally, us humans, we all face obstacles. But there's a difference between how we deal with them. For me, personally, I take some time out from my project. I may go for a walk into nature because I feel that's very beautiful, looking at trees, seeing the leaves fall down, hearing birds singing, the sun shining. It's nature. Nature is just beautiful. It kind of unlocks all my senses more and helps me to see things more clearly. Now, that's important when you have a clear mind. So changing scenery is so important. You don't want to go to anywhere that's disturbing, with noises in the background. You want to go somewhere that's very peaceful. So, also focusing on something completely different for a while can bring the inspiration back. So nature for me is very important, to be somewhere where there's no disturbances. Your mind is at ease.
Love nature, absolutely right. My other question would be, sometimes inspiration comes to us in the wrong time, when we are maybe in the middle of something, maybe we are driving, maybe we are having a meeting with our manager, etc. So how do you deal with that when inspiration comes, maybe when you're sitting in a meeting with your manager, or how do you deal with when it comes in a most inappropriate time?
Well, I tell you what, when I have these things happening, like going to meetings or, doing seminars, I always bring my notebook with me everywhere I go. And every opportunity I get, I just simply write things down. When I can't write it down quickly or instantly, I try to repeat it in my mind several times, so I don't forget to write it down later. Whether you're a writer or any creative, I highly recommend having a notebook is always handy.
Always. Well, having a notebook with you is so essential for for any creative, actually. So even if you are somewhere outside, maybe an inspiration comes, write it down on your phone and then later rewrite it in your notebook. Having a notebook is essentially, you need to get yourself a notebook if you don't have it. And William, how do you deal with the noise of the world, the doubts you might have about your projects, or maybe the people who are telling you something cannot be done and your ideas are impossible? How do you deal with the fears, worries, and the conflicting voices in your mind?
Well, Jana, I simply just ignore them. I hold a clear vision of what I want, and everything else is purely secondary. I don't let anyone to distract me. I know what I want, and if it's important to me enough, I'll simply make it happen. If some people say it's impossible, they are basically saying that it is impossible to them, but certainly not for me.
Oh, I love that answer. That is so true. Some people can't do something themselves and they try to convince us that you can't do it too. So I call it the noise of the world, and I don't listen to it either. Any final words you would like to leave our listeners with today?
Definitely, and of course, I would say never question your vision. Keep doing your best. Don't worry about someone not giving you credit. Just focus on what's important to you. Keep up the great work, and most importantly, believe in yourself, because this is you you're talking about. You are going to present this creativity, this positive mindset in your mind. You are the one going to deliver results, and only you can make it happen.
Thank you, William. That has been amazing. So where can our listeners find you?
You can find me on Facebook as Will Positive, on Instagram and Twitter as William OS619. You can check out my clothing line on willpositive.tmail.com. And I also have a brand new website which will be launching very soon. And that is www.williamosullivan.co.uk.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that. And good luck with your poetry book.
Thank you.
Well, Halloween is coming soon, and we are so looking forward to be able to read it. And hopefully we'll be able to get you on the podcast again soon so we can talk about it.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast. It's been an absolute honor. Thank you.
Oh, the honor is mine. Thank you. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I certainly did. And if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please feel free to email me. My email address is jana@mysticbutterfly.co.uk. That's Jana with a J. And to find out more about my work, please check out my website, mysticbutterfly.co.uk. And that's it for today, my friends. Keep creating and never give up on your dreams. Thank you so much for tuning in and for listening, and I am so looking forward to be speaking with you again in the next episode of Mystic Butterfly Podcast. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Have a great day, everyone. Bye.